I mean, the American respect for America is breaking down around the world. That's why you see all these conflicts.
Well, they say that every year.
Well, we see more conflicts every year.
Are you kidding? We're kicking ass. We came back better from the pandemic economically than any other big boy country. Well, you know, whenever I hear something like the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, it's just like, oh, right-wing talking point. Not that it's not true. It is true, but it's like, really give. I mean, should they have handled it better? Absolutely. I'm not sure America ever handles anything well.
Bill Maher finds himself in a heated conversation that's gone viral online, where he's confronted with the undeniable effects of modern progressive ideology on American society. Known for his sharp wit and unfiltered commentary, Maher is suddenly faced with truths that challenge many of the narratives he once endorsed. The exchange turns intense as topics like political correctness, free speech, and the expansive influence of modern ideological movements take center stage. This moment serves as a wake-up call, not just for Maher, but for anyone tracking the rapid cultural and political shifts in America. As tension builds, Maher is forced to navigate uncomfortable truths that critics of the progressive movement have raised for years. This isn't just a regular debate, it's a deep and honest critique of where the country is heading. It's a powerful moment that reveals Maher in a new light, vulnerable, challenged, and no longer in full control of the narrative.
No. However, I will ask you this because it's interesting to me. I did not like him. His personality is obnoxious. I didn't like it.
Among other things, yes.
But this is what I want to ask you, right? Because I don't know enough about American politics to say whether his policies were good.
Really?
I don't, honestly.
Oh, please.
I don't.
Why are you suddenly pleading ignorance on this? This is what you do.
No, hold on. Well, let's break it down, right? So, was his policy on the border better or worse than Joe Biden?
Looks like it's the same now. Because
Right.
Biden's building the wall.
At least he was trying, right? I mean, Biden's just letting people in like crazy. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I never thought a wall was a terribly practical solution because people have thought of it before, and there's just a lot of like things obviously he couldn't get through. Obviously he couldn't get it through. So that's how hard it is. You know, it's private land, or you just can't build a unporous border. Look, if the Republicans were serious about wanting to stop immigration, what they would do is they would crack down on the hiring. But they don't want to because they want the cheap labor. So they want to pretend that they are stopping people from coming in and they don't like people coming in, but they like it. Drives down wages, and they could do that. You could crack down on that end of it.
Okay.
But that doesn't happen. Nobody's going through the kitchen and yelling, immigration!
From my perspective, it doesn't seem like Biden is better than Trump on that. When I look at the international situation, I mean, the American respect for America is breaking down around the world. That's why you see all these conflicts.
Well, they say that every year.
Well, we see more conflicts every year.
Are you kidding? We're fucking kicking ass. We came back better from the pandemic economically than any other big boy country. I don't know how we do it, but if you look at like the stock market from like 1990 to now, like if you had your money in American stocks, like 3-4 times better than anywhere else.
I'm talking about
no, but it matters.
I mean, of course it matters.
You know,
no, you're right.
I mean, the dollar is nobody's really even pretending that they could like replace the dollar or would want to. I mean, with our kind of debt, I mean, at some point, is some of this going to come crashing down? It absolutely could. But I don't know.
It becomes increasingly clear in the discussion that America's foundations are far more resilient than its leadership. As Bill Maher struggles to defend President Biden over Trump, his arguments begin to sound more like attempts to reassure himself than present a convincing case. Despite Biden facing frequent criticism for lacking clarity and confidence, the country has not collapsed. The economy may be fragile and immigration a consistent issue, but America continues to hold strong, proof that its institutions were built to endure more than just political turbulence. This unintended admission is striking. The system works even under leaders many consider underwhelming. Yet, as Maher continues, he stumbles. Faced with truths that contradict his usual stance, he starts to unravel, his points turning into contradictions and half-hearted defenses. What begins as a critique of Trump slowly becomes a reflection of the weaknesses in the leadership he defends and the ideology he's aligned with.
No, I'm not Mr. Rah-Rah. I'm just saying these are the facts. The biggest, like 5 biggest tech companies in the world, I think, are all American. I mean, now China has, you know, some things that we don't, but our military is still like, there's nobody even close.
I couldn't agree with you more.
I'm just saying, so...
I'm Team America.
No, this isn't about bragging about America. This is just factually like where we are. Let's not be,
100%.
let's not have the wrong idea in our head about where our exact place in the world is. We're taking on water, but for some reason we're not sinking.
I'm just trying to get to the question, which is, you said something, which is very interesting to me. You're a smart guy, you're a nuanced thinker, but you said, we survived Trump, and that surprised you.
Totally.
What is it about...
Are you kidding?
So give people...
Because he's crazy, first of all. He's crazy.
Is he stupid, Bill?
So...
He can't be
He thought Frederick Douglass was alive. Are you kidding? Yes, he's stupid. He has a Hitlerian ability to move crowds. Often with the same sort of thoughts about you're cheated and the soil and you know, all this shit. Obviously, he never went where Hitler went. I'm not comparing him with Hitler in that way.
Yes, you are.
But just as a insane, but that also made him genius politician who can move people and just owns fucking people, just like owns them. And that's his talent. But is he stupid? Yes. And he's fucking crazy.
But aren't those two things in Congress that you've just said? That he's a politician of genius and he's stupid.
Politician.
Of genius.
Maher once again brings up the long-debunked narrative of Russian collusion with the Trump campaign, an accusation repeatedly discredited by the FBI and CIA. A claim that Trump's campaign managers shared polling data with Russia was sensational at the time, but it was later revealed that the individual involved was a CIA asset. Despite these findings, the story has continued to circulate, often repeated by those more invested in a political agenda than in verified facts. Maher, despite being corrected numerous times, continues to echo the same outdated claims. This persistence reflects a broader issue, the rejection of truth when it doesn't fit a narrative. It's no longer about political disagreement, it's about honesty in public discourse. As long as figures like Maher keep repeating disproven stories, it becomes harder for the public to engage in meaningful, fact-based conversations. The real damage isn't in the claim itself, but in the unwillingness to let go of it, even when the truth is known.